Oh, hi there. Welcome to the channel. And today I am going to be trying out, excuse me, one of the new shogi sites, HIKAKU, which as you can see is all in Japanese. It is not localized, but with the help of handy dandy built-in Google Translate, we can sort of get a sense of what things do and then just play from there. And I don't want to say it's straightforward, but it's relatively straightforward. Full disclosure, I signed up yesterday and I played a game and just talking about how it's relatively straightforward. I didn't even realize the time control was, I think it is. It's short 2 from Shogi Club 24, which is 30-second delay, 60-second main time. And one of my favorite time controls, but I didn't even realize it. So I was playing all my moves in the 30-second Byoyomi period, or the delay period. I thought maybe it was just a 30-second delay game. I couldn't. There's. If I would have stared at the screen really closely, I'm sure I could have figured it out. But I just see a bunch of Japanese characters, and my mind is thinking about the game, so it's kind of a bit of chaos. So I didn't even realize. But anyway, we'll play some games today and, see how it is. The site I will paste here in, it is, I have it in the YouTube show notes, shogi.games. And, it's a kind of unique little memorable URL. Hey, VMD Ayaka. Oh, I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah. I wanted to stream this site. I wanted to try out. I tried it out last night, and there's a lot of promise here. Before going far into this, I'll say it feels to me very much like a spiritual successor to Shogi Club 24. Not only the short 2 time control, but the way the board looks, the way it's a single page app, unfortunately, there's no, you can't open pages in new tabs and whatnot. It's got an antiquated feel. I'm not sure. I don't know if they have a desire to make an application, like an iPad application or a mobile application. It feels very much to me like an iPad or a mobile application first rather than a website first. It doesn't feel like a website to me because it doesn't allow you to open things in new tabs, and it doesn't behave well if you have multiple sessions going across browsers. But regardless, I will just quickly do this switch over to English just to give people a sense of what we're looking at. There's this HIKAKU League. I don't quite understand. I'll click through. It says the first ever HIKAKU League. So you've got to play. The Google Translate is very rough, but you have to play 30 matches against another person, and you have to win 5 or more, I think, to qualify for this league. I believe playing 30 matches is a requirement to get a non-provisional rank as well. So my rank has a question mark on it. I think you need to play. In the old days, I think Shogi Club 24, you had to win 30 games in order to get a non-provisional rank, if I remember correctly. But anyway, it is what it is. So there's that. We're sticking on English here. There's the rating match room where you play matches. And I think there's an option to auto play. There's an option, I think, to play bots. Right now, it says, I think this means there are 4 games going and there are 0 people waiting, I think. Or maybe 2 games going? Yeah, 3 games going. 3 games going. And sorry for this layout. I haven't made this layout. Hey, Todovsky, thank you for the raid. I made this. This is just my browser layout. I didn't spend much time making a specific. I didn't make a specific HIKAKU layout for this site. So it's my camera and the chat are going to potentially block some of the site. I apologize for that. But I don't know how much I'll be playing here. I don't know if this is going to become a site for me that is like what Shogi Club 24 used to be for me, but we'll see. Yeah, just get them to remake the site. Exactly. So I think, using the translation here. So obviously, this is it's all Japanese. I'm just using the translation, the Google Translate. I think this 3 means there are 3 games played, and that's in a highly anticipated match. So you can watch these games. So and there are 15 people in the room, I guess. I don't know what being in the room means. So if we load this game, we are in, let me switch it back to Japanese, just to make sure we don't get any sort of artifacts of the words changing the layout. So we have this, and I think it looks sharp. It doesn't look, amazing, but I think it looks sharp and clean, which is a nice change of pace, I'm gonna say, from many of the sites. It's just a nice change of pace. It feels to me very much like Shogi Club 24, and I'm going to guess that that's intentional. I don't know if it is, but I'm going to guess that it's intentional. The sounds are not great. The board is nice, but not great. It's got that light gradient, and the pieces are nice, but not great. They're very similar to the Shogi Club 24 pieces. But either way, it's clean. The text is nice. There's a move list that works. I don't remember what this does. Let me translate this. Invert. Okay, so I guess you can flip the board. Yeah, stuff like that. It's nice. I don't know if they have spoken Byoyomi, but or not Byoyomi, because it's delay. It's not Byoyomi, it's delay. But I don't know if they have speech at all. I haven't heard an option. I didn't find one. This is just to turn the sound volume up and down. But yeah, so we're in we're watching a game. Looks good. It's a click site. There's no dragging as far as I could tell. Lee Shogi supports sort of nice gaming sensibilities of being able to move pieces by dragging pre-move. This doesn't have that, but it's nice. It's like Shogi Club 24. Yeah, to register it needs a Google account. Hey, Tortubi, nice to see you. Yeah, it's a new site. It has full games. It's full games. It's full games, and they have plans for more. So let me switch back the Google Translate. And, there's this free play room, which is under construction, and a special match room, which I guess is tournaments, which is also, not open right now. I don't think they actually have Tsume. I think it is strictly a playing site. So they also have, they save your Kifus. They save your Kifus, and it's within the application, which again is nice. Yeah, the ad banner uses text and is not just an image. That's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool as well. That's a nice, I don't know if it was intentional, but it's a nice little touch because, it allows us to translate it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. If we go to my games, this is the history. You see, I played friend of the channel Yoji Nobori yesterday in a game. You have the option to download in a couple formats, UTF-8 or the JIS. I can't remember if it's JIS. I can't remember the Shift JIS, whatever that old Japanese encoding is. But you can do both. I don't know what this X is. I guess you can post it to X, and you can do. I don't know what this is. Maybe that's copy. I'm not sure. Because you can copy from the site. So if we go in here, you see when you play the game, you finish the game, immediately it pops up a graph. Immediately it pops up your graph with some move candidates, which is like, oh, this is so nice. It's like Shogi Club 24 used to do, except Shogi Club 24 would open it up on a different site in a different tab, which is great. But this is embedded in. And it's very fast. So really impressed. I don't know what engine they're using. I don't know what engine level they're using. This graph seems to line up pretty much with what I imported the game into Lee Shogi, and the graph is similar. So it looks good. It's not interactive though. So like, you know, these moves, these candidates, I can't put them into the game. You know, I can't edit the position to do these moves and see like, oh, this is what this does. So it's a work in progress. I'm guessing they're just, you know, they're continuing to build their functionality. You can click in here, I believe, to go to that position. So in the graph, you can go to the position. Here's where, you know, the opponent had the winning chances and then managed to, you know, let me off the hook. But real promising. Here's the copy button if you want to just copy the game. Let me translate. Let's see how well the translation does. Copy the game record, share the game record, download. So download, I think, will pop up, yeah, the Shift JIS or UTF-8. Yeah, obviously this translates very rough, but yeah, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let me get this off. So it's promising. It's really promising. I think we could, if we close this, well, let's see what it does. I think it'll center the board, but I don't know how to get it back. I don't know how to get that engine eval back. So maybe we just have to go out and back in. Okay, we go out and back in. You know, it's like I said, it's a work in progress, and they seem to be actively working on the software. Yeah, Tortue B, exactly. Very clean, very clean. And some of the players I've spectated, they seem extremely strong. So I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know. You know, we'll see what happens. Is it intentionally trying to get back that Shogi Club 24 user base? I don't know. I don't know if or how they're trying to monetize it. I didn't see any ways to pay them. I didn't see any features that didn't work, but I assume they're going to try to make some money because, you know, it's expensive to run a site. Functionally, it seems comparable or better than Shogi Club 24 if it doesn't have the player base yet. Yeah, I agree. Taylor McKinnon, hello, welcome. Yeah, so there's that. You know, a little tedious to go back to the main, but there's that. You can email them your support question, or I'll translate this. You know, they pre-populate some stuff about like complaining about other users, a bug report, opinions, and then others. You know, you can so they've already got some feedback form, which is nice. You know, not gonna lie, as someone who has been ignored by every shogi site, every Japanese shogi site that I've ever tried to contact, it is nice to have this built in. There's this which is going to show the top players, you know, ratings and whatnot. When you sign up, when you register, one of the things it asks you, there's a dialogue that pops up, and it says, it asks for your rank on Shogi Club, on Shogi Wars, and on 81 Dojo. So you plug that in, and it will presumably populate you with a rank. You know, I put Shodan Shogi Wars and Tudan 81 Dojo, and they placed me at 1Q Hikaku, you know, the Hikaku site. So so I'm 1Q. I don't know where I don't know what the bands are. Like, how do I get to Shodan? I don't know. And then this, I think this talks about the 30 games. I think you need to play 30. Yeah, rating not yet determined, will be finalized in 29 more games. So I think you just have to play 30 games, unlike Shogi Club 24, where you had to win 30 games, if I'm not mistaken. So, you know, it's positive. It's positive. Looks pretty cool. It's you know, it looks clean, it looks nice, but you know, Lee Shogi is still functionally so far superior, and I think it said aesthetically Lee Shogi is also much better. You know, obviously that's a subjective thing. You know, the amount of functionality Yloigh Shogi has is objectively a lot more. You know, the configurability is a lot more. You know, long story short, in my mind, Yloigh Shogi is much better software, but it wasn't made in Japan, so maybe that means it will just never do well. You know, maybe that's just, you know, the untainted reality of it. We'll see, though. We'll see, because Yloigh Shogi is improving. It is improving it is growing its player base. But anyway, let's get into a game. So we get into a game. Let me see what this says. I forget what this translates into. Do you want to turn on automatic matchmaking? This will automatically start a match with an opponent of similar rating. Human opponents only, will not play against bots. Okay, so I don't want this. You know, on a site that has very few players, I don't want automatic matchmaking. I sort of want to be able to guide that process a little more. So I will turn this off, and then I will switch back to Japanese and wait. I'm going to turn off the bot. Let's translate this page again. Wait, so automatic bot? I don't want bot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is. So there's automatic matching. Oh, bot automatic. I'm going to turn that off anyway. I don't know what display is. Oh, it displays everybody? Oh, it displays the bot. This is all just for bots. All just for bots. I'll display bots. And then I will translate this back. And Genbot. Okay, so we have a challenge. I think this means accept. So I'm going to accept. I think let's do a quick translation. I have the first move. Okay, I don't like this. I don't like this. You shouldn't interrupt the board like this. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And I have the first move, and my clock is already ticking down. So it's click, click, like I said. Ooh. You can hear the sounds. Okay, this is also a 1Q. So we'll do our normal stuff. Gonna get his silver up. This is a chance yet again. I'm gonna regret having said this. I'm gonna regret having said this, because every time now I feel like a fraud if I don't win. But you know, because I said on stream that I feel like I'm 3-dan versus Nakabisha. You know, I feel like I have an obligation to play my best, which is, you know, gonna put me in a tough spot mentally. All right, let's do this. Gonna look to get the rook up here, and then exchange the pawns. I'm not sure if I misplayed this. I don't know if this is actually the right way to go about it. It feels like blitz. Well, it's just because I'm playing quickly. It's just because I'm playing quickly. It's 30 seconds, and you have a minute of main time. So every move, you'll have at least 30 seconds. Come up. He pushes. I jump. So I have my 60-second main time here. So if I spend more than 30 seconds, time will start pulling from my main time. And if that doesn't, and then I make a move, I'll have 30 seconds again. Do I take? Oregon Moniwa, hello. Do I like the design? Yes. Yeah, I was saying, I think I really like the design here. I think the design is very nice. It's very clean, and it feels very reminiscent of Shogi War or Shogi Club 24 to me. So do I jump the knight? Do I jump the knight? I need Koshiro to be here. Hey, Mako and Foradun, great to see you both. I don't know about the illegal moves. That's a good question. Wow. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen this. All right, let's do it. Drop a knight. Get my rook over. Wow. Just drop the gold, or do I back it by the rook? I don't think he has mate. I'm playing very sloppily this game. I'm playing very, very haphazardly. I'm not respecting my opponent enough in this game. I think it maybe sometimes it takes me a bit on a new site without ratings to figure out how I feel. He does have a gold. So he is a night drop here, mate? Or do I just drop a gold? Okay, unfortunate. Unfortunate. So let's see. Let's see. Okay, thank you, and then skip. I will say thank you. All right. So never a doubt. Never a doubt. The game was over. The game was over. It's just it was scary. You know, I should be used to this, but it's not clear, Mako, if it's not clear if he disconnected or timed out. It said timeout. Oh, and you're on a 35 stream streak. Wow, wow. Oh, I should have tried to see if the site forces legal moves. The fact that I've played 2 games and I have not made an illegal move tells me that it doesn't allow illegal moves. Right now, I think it is only beeps. I didn't see a settings page to change that. So you said you don't know what's sloppy about this? What felt sloppy to me is that it feels like, to my senses in the game, is that my mindset in the game, I was attacking. I was very lightly considering my opponent's next moves. And at one point, I didn't even look at his hand, or I only briefly looked at. So when I made that move here, I only briefly looked at his pieces in hand. It's like I glanced, I saw a gold and a knight, and I thought, he can't mate me, is what I thought. But realistically here, so I'm thinking, what about this knight drop? So if he drops a knight, I think maybe I just drop a gold. If he drops a knight, I drop a gold. If he drops a knight, because if he drops a knight, it is, I can't ignore that, because next move, horse 6-9 is mate. So that was like the mindset leading to me feeling like I was playing very sloppy. But yeah, pawn drop 5-8 also seems interesting. It gives up the gold, but maybe I'm fast enough. Bishop drop 7-1. Yeah. So where are you saying? Are you saying, I wonder if it's bishop 7-1 here? No. Okay, it's not. Okay, so pulling back the rook was wrong. I should have just promoted the pawn. So I didn't see the mate. So I saw, if I promote this pawn, bishop takes, I drop the bishop. He takes, and then what? And then what? That was the line that I was reading. I can't, you can't edit the position here. Or yeah, you can. So I was thinking if I did this, okay, if I did this, he does this, I come up here, and then what? And then what? This is as far as I could read there. And I wasn't sure. What is this? What is this? Let's translate this. Analyzing this situation. Oh, it under implemented connecting plate, and it's so they're working on, you know, real-time analysis, which is awesome. Which is definitely awesome. Oh, so you thought bishop dropped 7-1 in response to knight drop 5-7. Where are we? We're here. Okay, so yeah, it is not. So I had better have mate, and I do. Okay, yeah, good call. So knight drop. Good call. You know, he goes over here. Take. Rook. Yeah. Yeah, so that's good call. Good call. So how do I get back to the main line? Is there a button here? What is this? I'm just going to dabble through the UI a bit here. Post-game analysis. What is this? Help for the game. Each move has a 30-second time limit plus 1 minute of thinking time per game. If you make a move during the time limit period, your time will not decrease. Yeah, that's a pretty nice description of delay. I think if people just explained it like delay in chess, I think it would be more clear. But anyway, tap. Oh, you can confirm move. Interesting. You can confirm move. So declaration of entering. Oh, 27-point method. So they do point calculation for entering king. They don't do. I can't remember what it's called. I think what is it called? A Mr. 10x54. This is Shogi.games. This is called HIKAKU. What is it called? What's the what is it called? The where if you get your king to the opposite. No, not impasse. The rule the rule that I like, try rule. It's the try rule. The try rule. Right? The try rule. That sounds right. It sounds right coming out of my mouth. And I think that's it. But in my brain it's sounding like maybe I'm misspeaking. Try rule. A magic base, you say try. So yeah, so maybe so yeah, so I am right. I am right. I trust you. You can send messages. Stalemate. If the same position appears 4 times, it results in a draw. Yeah, okay. So it's just a basic overview of that. Oh, here's the confirm. Here's the confirm button or toggle. Let's switch it back to Japanese. Yeah, but there appears to be no button to get back to the main line. Or is this it? No, this is not it. So I guess I can do this. Oh no, I can't. What does this do? Oh, that goes to the beginning. Okay. Well, anyway, weird, weird. Maybe there was something I'm just not seeing, but regardless, it does support. It looks like it at least does support variations. It doesn't seem like the variations are saved anywhere. Like I don't see that 5/8 knight anywhere here. Let's take a look at the bottom of the Kifu. No, I don't. I don't see that, or the 5/7 knight. But anyway, yeah, it's a really cool sight. To my point about taking the opponent lightly, players either make errors of commission or errors of omission. Failing to play Rook 5/3 promotion out of fear is an error of omission, not playing the strongest attacking move, even without Bishop 7/1 threat mate. Yeah. Well, is it that simple to say? I don't know at the moment that it is the strongest move. I suspect it might be. But there's some element, like there's some element of hope shogi involved when I played Rook 5/3 promote. There was some element of hope shogi that, I see my path forward and I don't necessarily see their path forward. But I have also definitely noticed on stream only, not off stream. Well, I haven't played someone. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. I was gonna say I haven't played someone off stream or over the board in Nakabisha in a while, but I have. Um, I think I think I've built up in my mind this invulnerability against Nakabisha, especially as Sente. And it's not a healthy mindset. It's not a healthy competitive mindset. I don't think. Confidence is good. Arrogance is bad. And I think my feelings against Nakabisha have a bit turned, unintentionally have turned a bit into arrogance. Based on some past results. Yeah, the pawn drop at 5/8 does slow their moves down. Yeah, it does. It does slow them down. Yeah, yeah. It definitely does. Yeah. And I need to be able to find the mate. But that's also a part of, at least it's a possibility, or it goes into some of my decision making in the end game. It's one of the things that probably everyone is somewhere on that line of their shogi ability, but it's one of the things that I find to be a bit of a weakness for me, and I don't think I'm unique in this, but even if I know, air quotes, know that there must be a mate, that doesn't mean I'm going to find it. So sometimes playing sort of the practically slower move, the practical move, which feels like it might be slower, sometimes sometimes is what I do. And sometimes it turns out to work and I still have enough time to mate. Sometimes it doesn't work, where my slow move actually sometimes accelerates their attack. But what does the engine say is the best move here? Um, oh, it doesn't say what the opponent's next move is. I'm not sure what this is saying. I think this is saying that 5-3 rook, which I did, is looking at the graph, I think what it's saying is that this is good. But I also think what it's saying is that 5-1 token, 5-1 token, I think this is the 5-1 token eval. And the number 2 move is 6-2 gold. And the number 3 move is 7-1 bishop. Is this showing up on stream? I think that's what this is saying. But my 5-3 rook move didn't lower the bar, which makes me think it's just as good as this. So what let me try to translate this again. First player has a winning position. Yeah. So the best move is 5-1. The best move is 5-1. Second best move is gold 6-2. Third best is 7-1 bishop. But 5-3 rook didn't lower the bar. Good day, Emperor X. I'm not sure. I was rewatching the stream yesterday, Emperor X, and I saw that you were on. I'm not sure if I greeted you yesterday, so I apologize. I apologize. So yeah, so 5-3. I didn't quite see the follow-up. So this is instructive, I think. So I did. This is what I looked. I wanted to make this move. I wanted to make this move. I didn't see the mate. It's Sumero now. I didn't see the mate. I think maybe there's a possibility that I drop the gold, he drops the rook, I drop the pawn, and then I have a million years to make this mate. But is there mate here? Like if I do this, he takes. Drop the gold. Takes. Drop the rook, runs, drop the gold, and there it is. And there's the mate. Okay. Okay. I need to be able to see that faster. I need to be able to see that faster in a game. I need to see this faster. I was looking for this. I was looking for this during the game. I couldn't read it. Yeah, I couldn't calculate this. I think I'm guessing that my mind during the game was looking at the pieces in hand and did not consider that once I take, he takes, that I have 2 golds. I think that's the key, is that, when I was looking at the position, my hand, I had 1 gold, and I didn't consider that I'll be taking a gold. Oh, hold on. So the best move was plus 3,000. So it's plus 3,000. And I made this move to go to plus 2185. But the best move would have stayed at plus 3,000. Second best move was plus 2,200. I'm not sure how the third best move can be lower rated than mine, but maybe that's just the way the calculation runs. I don't know. 2K and 3K are roughly the same. roughly the same. I think, in practical terms. And the Lee Shogi, we've talked about this before. The Lee Shogi determination of inaccuracy, mistake, blunder, I think is heavily dependent on 2000 being the same as 5000. So a lot of times, I end up with these perfect games where I'm actually like bleeding thousands of points of equity in the end game, but like they're not called blunders or even inaccuracies. It's kind of strange. Yeah. So in your opinion, the 3K move, and that is also when using an engine, that's also an instructive thing to consider, is that when thinking about plus 3,000 moves versus plus 2,500 moves or plus 2,000 moves, often the super high eval moves will require quite a bit more follow through, or more difficulty or more precision afterwards. So it's like, yeah, that might be a plus 3. It's not in this case, but like that might be plus 3,000, but it depends on you to do this only move and that only move and then that only move. But, the plus 2,500 move might be like, okay, you bash in and you just bang your head against the king and you're going to mate it. So it's part of that art, I guess, of listening to the engine, or taking the engine for what it's worth, which is, a starting point for thinking about the positions. Yeah, a short mate is better than a long checkmate, or a hishi. A hishi is better than a long checkmate. Yeah. In this case though, I do think someone at my level needs to be able to see this. Someone like, if I'm playing over the board with 40-second Byoyomi, even like with 40-second Byoyomi, if I'm playing this over the board, I have to see this mate. Like, these are the kinds of things I think I cannot miss, because in another position I might need this mate. You think over the board only a 5 down is going to spot this? So I'm not sure. I feel like this should be relatively elementary, especially since in my mind I already saw the importance of the 7 drop, of throwing the bishop away to get the king up. So that was something I was looking to do immediately once I dropped the knight and pulled these guys. Actually, I bet one of these dips is the knight drop. No. Okay, I'm wrong. Could this be the knight drop? No. All right, so maybe my knight drop was fine. No, maybe this is it. No, okay. Wait, what does the engine want me to do here? Oh, that was his move. Okay, so my move, I took the rook. Oh, and that was the best move. Okay, so maybe this is just an artifact of depth, and it's just an artifact of depth that I played the top move and the eval went down a bit. Yeah. Well, finding a hishi there, I'm not sure if there was a hishi. Maybe 5-3 actually was. I guess in the end, I think my feeling is that I saw that with the dragon here, so the theme of the mate of dropping the bishop on 7-1 was already in my head. So I'm telling myself I should have seen this mate, which employed the same basic theme. But it did require me realizing that once I take, my hand increases. Maybe there are certain moves the engine hasn't considered. Taylor McKinnon. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, it's possible, but like, yeah, I don't know what engine they're using. I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring this into Lee Shogi. I made a new study yesterday for my Hikaku games. And oops. No. Yeah, this is Hikaku. It's a fun experience. I like the clock. So let's go digging for options. Let's go digging for some options. So what is this? Let's do a little translation here. I'm not sure if there are friends on this site. I'll see there. Like, is there a friends list? So this is the match results. Shows, yeah, recent. This is cool. It's a nice little graph. Oh, I'm now Shodan. I'm now Shodan on provisional. I'm now provisional Shodan on Hikaku. Congratulations to myself. You can put a short 80 character self introduction. So I just shilled my channels. You can set your place of birth, or your date of birth. You can set your place of residence. It's abroad or a bunch of Japanese prefectures. I like this, or cities. I like this. This is cool. I like this. It's kind of it's like places in Japan or everywhere else. I don't even know what to put for shogi history, so I'll leave it, and then X. I have not I have not made a Shogi Dad Twitter account. Maybe I should at some point. I don't know, so that I can hashtag engage with some of this discussion, like some of the discussion that has been having a little bit on Shogi Harbor and in Benjamin Schuett's channel and on Twitter. Actually, that's yeah. So wait, is there so there's no friends list. So we go to account. I'm in account. Go to my game records. Let's see, Yoji Nobori. Can I click his username? I can click. Okay, so this is where the profile comes up. So I don't see a way to add him to my friends list. What does mine show? So mine does show all this. Let me untranslate. So it. Oops. Let me untranslate it so it looks okay. All right. And you can't click these, but you can copy and paste them. All right. Little clipping here. A little clipping on the bottom of the G. I might have to send them a feedback about that. Is his Y is clipped as well? Yeah, his Y is clipped. Just making sure. Yeah, I am in the untranslated page. Okay. But anyway, to x.com, let me somehow get this in. So there was an interesting, there's a discussion. How did I get on this? Oh, talking just because of Twitter. There's a discussion going on, and in Benjamin Stewart's channel, about playing professionals in handicap without handicap. And I am going to I'm gonna see if I can get some of these in here. How can I show these images? How can I show these images? I have these tweets translated and sort of ready to go. Let me do this. Okay, give me a second here. I'm going to send them to this other device, and then I'm going to bring these in. Tweet 1, tweet 2, bring these into iCloud Drive. And then I'm going to, okay, it's not showing up yet. Bear with me a second. I'm just going to switch this as I bring up my Finder iCloud Drive. So here's tweet 1. Here's tweet 2. And I will switch back. Actually, let me close this window. And now I will switch back. Oh, it's not showing because I'm only doing Chrome here. How about... Well, this scene will do. This scene will have to do. So here we are. One of these posts. Long way to get here. So the topic is whether it's rude. And Hidechi chimed in. You know, everyone's favorite Hidechi chimed in to say that he felt. Let me see if I have that tweet as well. Let me see if I have that one translated. So I was going to do a podcast about what's going on in the world of Japanese shogi Twitter, because I've seen a lot of interesting discussions lately. And so I was going to make a podcast about it. But now the fact that someone brought it up in the Discord kind of feels like it takes the wind out of some of my sails. But okay, let me forward this. I'll do this now. So this is tweet 3. So let me get this in, and I'm going to do the same song and dance here. Going back here. So I'm not sure who started this thread, but anyway, Hidechi is one of the first that I saw about this. And I'll read it, the translated tweet. You know, when it comes to playing handicap-free games in professional guidance matches, I absolutely share the feeling that it's fundamentally rude and basically a no-go to ask for a handicap-free game against a professional. However, when pressed to explain why it's rude, it's surprisingly tough to articulate it well. So let me try offering an analogy. Imagine this, and it's a bad analogy. Narrator voice, it was a bad analogy. But anyway, imagine a student taking instrument lessons from a professional musician who says, "Teacher, couldn't you play that piece for me right now? Just one song, the one you perform in concerts. I want to learn from hearing it." You can see how that would be rude, right? In my mind, asking for a handicap-free game feels like a similar kind of request. So I think others, I've seen some others chime in on why this is a bad analogy. And to me, it's also just flat out bad because it wouldn't be rude And it wouldn't be ridiculous to learn from a teacher watching how he plays. Like in the old days, I've heard guitarists talk at length about this very topic of how important it would have been to be able to see some of the greats that they were trying to learn from actually play the things that they were trying to learn. Learning about techniques by seeing is sometimes better than hearing about things just by hearing. But anyway, so he says, of course, if an innocent student made that request with pure intentions and the musician happily obliged and play it, that wouldn't be strange at all. It's just a matter of that, I suppose. So that's basically the tweet from Hidechi. And anyone who knows me and my feelings on playing professionals, knows that I don't agree with this. And also, seeing this out there guarantees now. It's already been in the back of my mind, but guarantees that I will not play a pro again. I will not play a pro in in these events where the pros are there, because I don't want to step into these these unspoken cultural things that I don't understand. And it's like, do you want to play with a handicap? No. Okay. It's like they let you it's like they let you step into this landmine. They set a trap and then let you step into it, and then you're the bad guy. So anyway, I'm just there's that. And then it got more interesting. So there's that's Hidechi's tweet. This one is great. This one is great. Professor Watanabe Akira. So, legendary player Watanabe, the handicap refusal. Back in the day, and of course, these are translated. And so it's hard. You can't take these translations with a grain of salt, and the way that they word things is kind of weird. But anyway, back in the day, there was this amateur with a strong playing style who, in a guidance game with multiple board setups, so playing a simul, he requested a handicap-free position. Professor Watanabe gladly accepted, but that specified position was one the amateur had thoroughly studied all the way to checkmate. Okay, wait, what? What? So he ended up winning against Professor Watanabe. It was indeed an amazing effort and truly impressive. And then he goes on later. That player, as it turned out, was banned. That player became banned. And I think this is part of the discussion about the guy getting banned. I still remember, this is a different person saying, I still remember it. It was quite a famous story at the time. Watanabe Akira-san was very strong at Yagura, but it was just guiding it to the simplest variation in the Waki system. Oh, wait, no, so continuing. So continuing the thread, continuing this, the same guy said, and this is what this person responds to. After that game, the rather eccentric amateur, he's a shogi amateur who supposedly memorized an entire, to checkmate and beat a pro. So obviously, there might be a little eccentricity. But anyway, the rather eccentric amateur went around participating in shogi events everywhere, handing out scores. I'm expecting this is handing out kifus. He's probably bragging about his kifus, handing out scores of games where they had beaten Watanabe without specifying the position. So Mr. Watanabe must have had a very, he guessed that Mr. Watanabe was very upset. But anyway, this person responds, I still remember it. It was quite a famous story at the time. Watanabe Akira-san was very strong at Yagura, but it was just guiding it to the simplest variation in the Waki system, where white gets an early advantage and wins. That's all, right? Well, even if it's a loss, Watanabe Akira-san probably didn't go all out to crush it either, I think. I was handing out the game records to various people. So I don't know if this is him, but I don't know. But this whole discussion is fascinating to me. For one, the idea, the unchallenged idea here that you can memorize a game of shogi up to checkmate and beat a pro. It's like, what? Huh? so, so did Watanabe just play exactly the moves that he memorized? Or did this guy like memorize 3 variations for every single possible move, and Watanabe just happened to play like every single one of those? Like, that seems to me, this is the funniest part of this whole discussion, that you can just thoroughly study a position all the way to checkmate. You think it was, could you play this opening? Maybe. Well, so you're talking about chess masters, and that's where I'm eventually going to go. But I was planning on going to the chess masters later, because I feel like I talk up chess professionals too much on this channel, especially in response to complaining about shogi professionals. So I feel like I sometimes am unfair there, because I'm always so positive about how the chess players play. But like this situation, there was another tweet talking about how this is why professionals don't go all out in their games, and this is why you should only play handicap games. And if I was a professional and someone invited me to this festival, and the players wanted to play unrated games, I would be offended and I wouldn't come back. And we should be so grateful that the professionals are coming. We should be so grateful that the professionals are coming to our festival, that we shouldn't try to offend them by playing no handicap games. And I'm thinking, like, what are these hothouse I don't know if anyone's familiar with the hothouse flower, but like, what are these delicate, sensitive spirits of these shogi professionals that they can't and it must be a cultural thing, but like, they can't even risk losing in a friendly, uncompetitive, in a friendly game where people are clearly not going all out, where the professional, especially in a simul, but at a shogi festival, if I'm playing a professional and they're not going all out because they don't need to, I'm not offended. I don't care. But by the same token, if I beat the professional, I am not going to be thinking, wow, I'm better than a professional. I'm going to be thinking, I played a great game. He wasn't taking it very seriously, but what a great experience. And, you see people, like, famously, there are videos of Magnus Carlsen going to a bar and playing some random 1500 rated FIDE players in blitz chess with a beer in hand and a big smile on his face, and they're playing. And if Magnus would have lost, he wouldn't, but if he would have lost, no, I think one of those videos Magnus did lose against like a 2100. Either he lost or it was a very close game. And, he was laughing and having fun. And it's like, It's a game. Shogi's a game. Chess is a game. What is this thing? And why are the pros so afraid to lose such that it's rude to even play them on an even footing? I don't understand. And it's not my culture, so I understand that there may be cultural aspects to that, like that just with like Street Fighter and things like that. I've seen there's some cultural aspects where I think winning a game against someone is somehow more meaningful. But taking professionals out of this, so there's the idea that professionals never play at full strength against amateurs. So there's the general thinking that generals never play against full strength against amateurs. And so it's disrespectful to play a non-handicap game with them. Because I guess if you win, then that shows disrespect. I don't know. But regardless of professionals, that's how it is with real humans, with normal amateurs. So like if I'm playing someone, and I was thinking about this last night, and I think the level difference is 3 levels. So the level difference for me, and this is my own personal perspective. If I am playing someone 3 levels above me or 3 levels below me, there's something about that game where I understand if I'm playing, let's say on 81 Dojo, if I am playing a 5 Dan and I win the game, and this has happened, I have won a game. I've won 2 games against 5 Dan players on 81 Dojo. I understand that they probably didn't play their best against me. They probably didn't they probably didn't take me seriously. Because and so I'm happy. I'm happy that I won, but I don't go bragging about it. Like if I win against someone 3+ levels above me, I don't go bragging about it. And I certainly am not going to come in a shogi discussion and say like, I beat Joe Fabitz over there and he's 5 Dan on 81 Dojo. So, I'm probably better, I'm better than him. And so, if Joe Fabitz wins, this big tournament, I probably could have won that tournament because I beat him. Like that isn't something I'd say because to me, it's ridiculous. Because and the reason I feel that way is because I know how I play against players who are 3 levels or more below me. I know that I struggle, especially over the board, but also online. I struggle mightily to get, in that proper competitive, full calculation, focused mode if I'm playing someone significantly lower rated than I am. This is a weakness in myself, I admit, and maybe this is only specific to me. Maybe this is not very common. I assume it's common, and I give the better players that I play the benefit of the doubt. But like I know that for me, it is very difficult for me to take lower level players, to play my best against much lower rated players. That doesn't mean I don't play them. It's tough for me. I acknowledge that. And shogi is an extremely volatile game. And it's very easy to lose a game of shogi. As I have famously said, it's an easy game to lose and a hard game to win. But But I have been in this situation, I think, of Watanabe, not to place myself on the same level of Watanabe, but I have been in this situation both on stream and over the board, both on stream and over the board, at least once in each situation, possibly more in each situation. So I'll talk about this over the board situation where I played someone. It was at a club. It was a new player. He said he was a new player who played chess, and we're playing with those crappy pieces that I hate, and I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm not. It's a new player. I'm playing some weird opening stuff, stuff that I wouldn't normally play. I'm playing speculative things because he's playing a little weirdly, as expected. He's playing weirdly. And so I play some speculative stuff of like, oh, this looks, in my mind, oh, so this is a real danger to me. This is part of the danger of me playing a lower rated player. I get this thought in my mind, oh, wouldn't this be this position happen? This weird position comes about because my lower rated player plays some dubious moves, let's just say, in the opening. And so I get to think, so I'm at the board thinking of like, oh, this is interesting. Can I just outright win here? Or can I do this here? Or is this going to be real strong? Can I sack my rook here and do this thing and get a crazy attack? And it's like when I'm playing a lower rated player, I have those thoughts. I have very sort of unserious thoughts of, oh, wouldn't this be interesting? And so inevitably, in some of those games, I lose. So this game I'm talking about, and this is like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I don't even remember how long. This is a long time ago. And so this guy, who's relatively new to shogi, but apparently a pretty good chess player. I don't even know if he's still playing shogi. But he wins the game. Long story short, he wins the game. I think I threw mate. I threw a mate on the board as well. So it's like, I played crazy in the game and I missed a mate. So I lost this game. Good game. Good game. We talk about it. It's not. It's no surprise. I lose a lot of games. I lose a lot of games, especially when I'm playing a lower rated player. It seems like. And I've been told by a couple people, over the board, by more than a couple. I say a couple. It's more like 3 or 4 people that, oh, you're my bet. Beating you was the first time I ever beat a Shodan, kind of thing. And so it's like it's it's like I have this dubious honor, for some people of being, their first scalp. But anyway, great. It's a new player. We have a new player. They had a good time. Great. Fast forward a week to that same club, a week or 2, I don't remember, to that same club. I'm playing someone else. And I overhear this person who won that game against me saying like, oh, I beat Frank, so I'm probably like, Shodan to 2-dan level. And, oh, Frank beat this guy. Oh, so I could probably beat that guy. It's like, Frank won against insert 3-dan name here. So I could probably play him. Like, I could probably beat him or play him. I can't remember exactly what he said. I could probably beat him or play him at an even level. I'm sitting there in my game, and I'm thinking, like, what? It's like, just because you win a game against someone, especially in shogi, this incredibly volatile game, that doesn't mean it doesn't mean you're better than they are. 2, it doesn't mean you would beat the people they would beat. And three, like, just get out of here. Don't, like, I don't know. So I can understand Watanabe. And at that point, I'm thinking, like, you know what? Maybe I just shouldn't play beginners anymore. Maybe I shouldn't play. If people are gonna play me, and then if I don't play it ultra serious and I lose, I'm gonna be hearing about this for the rest of my life. Like, maybe I should just not even play these beginners. And someone did it online too. Someone who used to watch the stream did it. Beat me on stream and beat me on stream. It was the most disgustingly it was the most disgusting, like, it was absolute massacre. And they weren't going to resign. And I'm just taking all their pieces and la da 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 da. You know, I threw the game and they won. And then from then on, every single comment from them was like pompous and preachy. And I was glad to see them go. And I just, so I understand where Watanabe-san, and I understand where the professionals would be coming from. It's like, I don't need this. I don't need this. If, you know, I'm trying to have fun here, you know, or I'm trying to give people a good time. Yes, I'm being paid for it, but, like, I don't need this. So I understand that. But at the same time, you're a shogi professional. Deal with it. Like, you know, the chess players, they play amateurs all the time. And like, if they lose against an amateur, they're not going to be like, that was disrespectful to even challenge me to an even game. I don't know. Anyway, I've been blabbing and I haven't been reading. So on YouTube, Taylor, you say it's standard practice in chess to memorize lines. So would the same standard of knowledge not apply? Well, there's one thing. It's one thing to memorize lines, and that is absolutely the standard in shogi as well. Not to the same extent that people do it in chess, but I think this goes beyond that. This is like memorizing the entire. My feeling is that he memorized the entire game, and maybe people can do that in chess. I don't know, but, you know, shogi, there's so much flexibility, and in chess too. But in shogi, there's so much flexibility in move order and moves you do that to me it seems almost impossible to memorize a game that a pro would play against you. And so, like, the idea that you can win a game against a pro just by memorizing from an opening, even if you said, Watanabe Sensei, please play Urashino Ryu against me. Even if you memorized, like, there are no openings in shogi that are such a clear win that you can just memorize it. Like, as far as I know, maybe I'm a fool here, but, like, you can take a dubious opening like Sankan Bisha or Nakabisha. You could take a dubious opening like, you know, Furibisha, and you can't memorize that to the end. You couldn't say, Watanabe Sensei, please play Nakabisha, and then unleash this prepared, computer-driven game against him. You can't do that. You just, like, that's simply not possible, as far as I'm concerned. So it feels like there's more to this story that I'm not quite understanding. But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, so that's Taylor, you say maybe they consider it to be extremely closely tied to their livelihood, or it's a culture thing. Yeah, I have to assume it's something like that. But and maybe the Japanese culture is just very hard on professionals who lose to amateurs. So maybe over the past, hundreds of years, maybe it's just built up to this thing where if you're a professional and you lose to an amateur, people will consider it scandalous. Maybe. I'm wondering. Maybe that's the case. A little of that is in Hachi One Diver, the live action series based off of a manga, where one of the characters in Hachi One Diver, this Nikogami Two Gods, his claim to fame is that he won an even game against a shogi professional, and using Gangi, which at the time was considered to be weak. Gangi was considered, at the time of Hachi One Diver, Gangi was considered to be a weak castle. It's only now that we know it's this godlike structure, but it was considered weak back then. So this amateur won with Gangi, and basically it was a stain on that shogi professional's career his entire life, and it plagued him in this story. So maybe that's just cultural aspect of some of this stuff, and like maybe that was part of a joke in the series, but maybe that's actually real, and maybe people are just brutal. Maybe air quotes fans of shogi are just brutal to their heroes, and in that case I understand. Yeah, I understand. Like if I was streaming, let's say I had a big channel. Let's say I had a big channel and I had hundreds of concurrent viewers every time, and I would play viewers, and let's say if I played a viewer who was lower rated than I am and I lost, let's say that those hundreds of concurrent viewers or thousands of viewers over the course of a stream just ridiculed me mercilessly and stopped subscribing or stopped donating. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm just not going to play even games against new players, or I'm not going to play even games against people lower. And even without all that monetary incentive, and without all those viewers, I essentially sort of did that when this happened with that guy on stream. I pretty much stopped playing lower rated viewers, I think. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but in my mind, I'm thinking back, and maybe that is true. I've mostly stopped playing under lower rated viewers on stream since that guy's behavior made such a bad impression on me. Actually, there were two that now. So I know there were two on stream at least that were like this. Anyway, I haven't been reading Twitch. Oh, I see, Todosky, you've got a bunch of things. Ornolf, good to see you. Kyo has competition already. Yeah. Kyo definitely has competition. Well, I don't know if Kyo has competition. I don't know if Kyo is not out yet, and I'm not sure if Kyo doesn't seem all that impressive. So Hikaku is kind of cool. Magnus has made touch move errors. It's a game at a bar. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's a game. It's a game in general. So like at a game at a bar or a game at a festival, like if you're a pro and you lose to an amateur, like shogi, like pros don't need to know this. Like don't need me to tell them, but like shogi is a volatile game. It's very easy to lose. It shouldn't be the end of the world losing. Like the very few shogi players who seem to play online, at least without being anonymous, they lose. Like what's his name? I can't remember his name. I'm blanking. Shogi Hiroki. Oh my gosh, I can't remember Shogi Hiroki's name. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's been a while since I've seen one of his videos. But like, he plays on 81 on Shogi Wars, and I think sometimes he plays 10 minutes, sometimes he plays 3 minutes or whatever, 10 seconds. He loses some of those games. And so you're telling, like, anyone can lose. So what are we saying? We're saying that it's possible to win against a pro, but it's disrespectful. So it's possible to win against a pro. It's possible to win against an unfocused professional in an even game, but it's disrespectful to play an even game against a pro. Like, something about that just doesn't compute to me. It just doesn't compute. So all I can say is it must be a cultural thing. At Mahjong Club, you hung mate against someone probably rated 600. Wait, at Mahjong mate? Wait, at Mahjong? Wait, what? Wait, what? Is an AI writing Todosky's messages? Wait, you say at Mahjong Club you hung mate against someone probably 600? Like, were you playing chess? Yeah, you say that you don't think professionals are united about this topic in all circumstances either, but Sente handicap seems like an obvious accommodation. Yeah, yeah. Um, I would still consider Sente handicap an even game myself, but even as someone who's a doomer on shogi, um, I'm this is a separate topic that we could all talk about, but like, I'm a bit of a doom these days. I am a bit of a doomer in terms of the longevity of shogi as a professional endeavor. Like, chess players are worried about the future of chess. Um, I think the future of shogi is in much more dire straits than the future of chess, because chess with best play is a draw. Shogi with best play is a win for Sente. If the computer championships, I don't know if anyone's been following computer championships. I periodically look at those results. If any, because I've talked about before, I've done this on my own, just playing my own engines against each other. And it's basically Sente's winning. Just Sente's winning. And obviously we're humans and we're not computers, but as the computers become more entrenched and people improve, people are going to start playing more like computers. So at what point at what win rate does the professional game fall apart? Is it at 60% win rate? So say let's if computers right now have a 98% win rate or whatever it is, let's say computers have a 90+% win rate as Sente, and I think it's higher. I could have misinterpreted, this is coming from Japanese sites and stuff like that, so I could be misinterpreting things. But if the computer is winning 90+% of its games or more as Sente, I don't think it's unreasonable that humans will get to the point where they're winning 60+% of their games as Sente. And Senichite will start playing into it more, yada da da da. But if we get to the point, what is that breaking point for professional shogi, where Sente is just too big of an advantage? I don't know. To me, like, I think right now, Watanabe, I don't know if someone tweeted Watanabe's thoughts recently, or I'm sure I have it somewhere here as well. I've been screenshotting translations of interesting tweets because, like I said, I wanted to make a podcast episode about these various tweets that are happening, across the Japanese shogi Twitter sphere. And And long story short, I think it was like 58% recently, some number like the 58% win rate for Sente in the pro games. And it was eye-opening to Watanabe. And that's a big advantage, right? In a competitive endeavor, that is a big advantage. And so let's say we hit 60% winning rate for Sente in pro games. How do you fix that? It's not like Go, you can't give more Komi. It's, I think if you start giving peace handicaps, you're ruining the game. So what do? You shrink the clock time. Maybe you shrink the clock time and just say that you acknowledge you acknowledge Shogi with best play is a win. So we have to do something to prevent humans from being able to play their prep. I don't know. I think it's a fascinating topic. So let me read. Hey, Yloigh! Fujimori is Shogi Hiroki. Thank you. And compared to chess, so you say compared to chess, Shogi is less volatile. I'm not good enough at chess to say, but boy, it feels to me like Shogi is way more volatile. Maybe by 2100, we'll see Sente advantage being too large. Maybe not. You say, Arnold, you said you don't think we're even close to that point. So, like I said, I think this recent computer championship is like, I could be misremembering. I think it's like 98% wins for Sente. And I think the past year's the men's professional games is somewhere like 56 to 58% win rate for Sente. And that's a lot, right? That's a lot. It really makes Furigoma important. It really makes Furigoma really important. And it kind of disqualifies Shogi as a single game. Yeah, time to make Blitz the standard time format. Yeah. We'll see Shogi economy implode before Shogi falls apart. I don't know. We'll see. But either way, I think it's a fascinating topic. I am easily fascinated by the mundane. So I admit that this could just be me. But the thinking about how you deal with those kinds of problems, those kinds of competitive problems are really interesting to me. Both in terms of the Sente win rate and dealing with amateurs who are increasingly strong. And going back to the whole beginning, topic was, I think I'm just not going to play pros. Like, I have already expressed a desire not to play pros at these events, and the past two events that I have been to with professionals, I have declined the opportunity to play professionals just because, one, I don't want to play a handicap game, and I know that there's this sort of underlying sentiment. I didn't know it was as strong as I now know it to be, but I sensed that there was this sentiment that asking for an even game was somehow rude. So I knew so it seemed to me like that was a possibility, but now that I know it is in fact a strongly held opinion for many people, I just don't want to do it. Like, I'd rather play amateurs. I like the even game. I love playing amateurs. I love playing a 4-dan. I love playing a 5-dan. If I could play Koshiro, in a game, oh my gosh, I'd be in seventh heaven. I'd rather be playing Koshiro than any professional. Wait, grandstanding. What is that? About what? It's not worth it to me. And does that change? Like now we have to think, oh, that the computer thing? Boy, I don't know how that could. I don't know how it could be anything but a big deal. 58% win rate is huge. That's, I mean, we're getting close to 60-40. You know, that's not to do the maths on someone who's probably better at math than I'll ever be, but that's 3-2. That's a 3-2 ratio. Oh, so you think you think it's the about the playing even games. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's only the Twitter bubble and the shogi sort of. I I don't know. I you know I my sense of talking to people in real life and seeing things on Twitter, maybe it's a bubble, but I rarely get the sense that I've certainly never heard anyone say, "Oh, playing an even game is a great thing." At best, it seems like it's roughly tolerated, especially someone at my level. Especially someone at my level. So for me, for me, a very low level amateur to play a professional even game, it seems like the best situation is that someone can laugh and just say, this is a gaijin. This is just a dumb gaijin. But maybe not. Maybe there is a lot other than that. NinWorld, good to see you. Been a while. The real disrespect against a professional is the Taiko handicap. The amateur player is giving a handicap by removing the rook pawn on 2-7, and then play rook takes 2-7 in the first move. Wait, what? Well, I'm remove the rook pawn on 2-7. How do you remove the rook pawn on 2-7? Like he just pushes it up the board? I'm not clear. I'm not clear on what that is. How do you remove this? You just push it into its death? I'm not. I just boy. I'm struggling to visualize how the rook gets over here. Lorenzo, what do you mean? Looks like this was the stream of the year. What do you mean? It's been a fun stream. Starting the game without the pawn, and because you are Uwate. Oh. Wait, that's disrespectful? I actually I like those kinds of handicaps more because it plays like a real game. Like personally, like so if the professional is here, you know, is Uwate, and the professional says take your pawn on 2-7 off, or the professional says give me your pawn. So let's say we take this pawn and put it here. And so our first move, we can just promote here. I like that. I think that's a cool handicap. Like that's clearly a handicap. But the game's integrity is not sacrificed because all the pieces are still in play. Like one of the things I really just don't like about handicap games is that it's artificial, in that as the person getting the handicap, let's say it's a rook, let's say it's a bishop handicap. Let's say I'm playing against a bishop handicap. This bishop is off the board. You know, this bishop is off the board, so we're deleting this bishop. I will never be able to play with a bishop in hand. Like I can never exchange my bishop. I can never exchange these bishops. Like it takes a lot of the theory, or a lot of the it takes a lot of the game out of the game. So I just don't, you know, I don't know. So it's not as fun for me or as interesting, or it feels like as educational. I'm willing to admit that I'm just an idiot, and that historically, you know, people did this, and the best excuse, or the best reason for handicap games that I hear, you know, the excuse that seems to be given the most of why we should play handicap games is that it's always been done this way, that it has historical significance, and this is how the strongest players have always been raised. And you know, there is something to that, but I don't know. And I'm not even like a modernist kind of guy. You know, I'm not like, I like not changing things. You know, Engine says Uwate would have a +5 advantage to giving Shitate his 2-7 pawn. Wait, what? Wait, what? Uwate is the handicap giver, right? Uwate is Gote. No, definitely not a contrarian. Boy. In some things, maybe. I think a lot of people get called a contrarian when sort of modern bad takes are being criticized. You know, it's very easy to look like a contrarian where you're just being force-fed really obviously wrong things that you disagree with. Like let's take this into Lee Shogi. So we're gonna take this into Lee Shogi where we have an engine. And let's puzzles, play, tools, board editor. Let's delete this piece, and study, analysis board. So the in-browser at depth 22 right now is calling this +11. I'm going to guess a stronger engine you're running at higher depth is going to call this plus 20. Let's say this is plus 20. Plus 11 is already like a winning advantage for a professional. But this seems great. This seems like a great handicap. I'm surprised more people don't do this. Oh, yeah, put the pawn in hand. Like I said, yes, thank you, Todovsky. Thank you. That was what I had originally said. Ah, and now it is plus 5. So plus 5 in this. So this is probably plus 9. I'm guessing this is plus 9, plus 10, in a stronger, newer version, new neural net. But regardless, I think this is awesome. I think so. This is less of an advantage, I think, than Gote, than Bishop. So let's go back to, I'm going to leave that open. And get rid of the bishop. So we're just going to play like that. Who goes first in the handicap game? I think the professional does, though. Right. Oh, Lorenzo, you tuned in the second you took away that Watanabe story. Okay, so it's a slightly, according to this engine, it's a slightly bigger advantage for the bishop, for giving the bishop. But we end up with a much less realistic game. I love this. Playing a handicap like this, I love this. Trying to take advantage of a dragon versus a rook has been a real theme in some of my games. I really like this. We need a podcast episode on professionals and handicap games. So I'm afraid because I'm so ignorant in the professional world of talking about professionals. Handicap games, I want to say I've talked about them, but maybe not. Certainly on stream, I've blabbed at length about my dislike of handicap games. But yeah, I have a whole series of screenshots of translated Japanese Twitter tweets that have, like, it's been really getting hot in Japanese shogi Twitter. The engine was assuming the wrong person going first in bishop handicap. Yeah, so who goes first? Who goes first in each of those scenarios? So should I oops. How do is there no way to flip this easily? So should I just do this? So in this case, it's minus. Yeah, Lorenzo, we're studying a position all the way to checkmate. That's how we beat Watanabe. All we have to do is memorize a position all the way to checkmate, and we can beat a professional. All right, so this one's minus 4.6. What about What about this? If we... Gosh, I wish I could flip this. What am I doing? How do I get my pawn going up this way? Oh, weird. They're all facing down. Anyway. Is that a bug? Shouldn't one of these be facing up and one of them facing down? Anyway. Is this it? I'm not sure, but either way, I think this. So I would, if if someone said to me, "Do you want to play Dragon Hand?" Let's just call this Dragon Handicap. If someone calls this Dragon Handicap, regardless of who goes first. See, the problem is, if I think in this case we have to go first, because otherwise they could defend. This I think is a very interesting handicap format. To me. Oh, magic based. I bet that might be it. That certainly could be. Let's just, I'm going to open this in an incognito window just to test that out. There it is. You're right. Good call. Not a Lee Shogi bug. It is, it's a user style bug. Or at least it appears to be. I think this is really nifty. And I would have more fun playing this as the person getting the handicap. Hajime offered the computer a pawn handicap and won? I'll have to check that out, but that doesn't seem... Like, what computer is he playing? Like, he wouldn't be able to even compete against a computer in an even game. So why, like, a human can't even compete with a computer in an even game. How could he win with a handicap? Oh, I do Shogi. That's interesting too. I mean, it's not as educational. But yeah, playing a handicap game where the knights get to move like chess knights, I think that's a fascinating... I think that would be a huge advantage. My take is that that's a bigger advantage. My guess is that that's a bigger advantage than being up a bishop. That would be so good. I think they would ruin the game. I think it would ruin Shogi to have knights that strong. You're never promoting one of those knights. Yeah, what would the promoted knight do? Would it just become a gold? Yeah, Hajime is very funny a lot of times, not just sometimes. There's actually a very old version of Shogi where that's how the knights move. Is it pre-drop rule, though? Howlerlu, yeah, knights on steroids. Good to see you. It must be pre-drop. Yeah, exactly. The chess knight becoming a gold would be a massive under promotion. Except for those positions except for a mate, except for you'd have limit. It'd be a lot more. It'd be a lot more of a decision. Okay, so you do think it was before they came up with the drop? Imagine being able to drop a chess knight. Oh my god. Well, I guess, in some way, like Crazy House, Crazy House is crazy. Crazy, yeah. Arnulf is on the Crazy House talk, just like just as I'm saying it. Yeah, Crazy House. I thought I would like Crazy House. It's too crazy to me. Like as a spectator, it was just too crazy. It's just the pieces are too powerful. I think the pieces are too powerful. It's too much of a just like knife's edge. Shogi, I think, is just such a nice balance of insanity and strategy and pacing. Making shogi pieces more powerful, I think, is an obvious temptation. Not that anything is actually going to change. Nothing is ever changing. I mean, the Shogi world won't even change their time control, their time format. So changing pieces these days, is probably never going to happen. But like that obvious temptation to make pieces more dynamic would probably ruin the game. Hi, Crawler 9065. This new site, you forgot the #1 feature of any site, dark mode. Yeah. Dark. I was thinking about that before the stream. Is that like, it doesn't have dark. I'm trying to give this it's the best shot. It's still, even though it's new software, it still feels like it doesn't have modern sensibilities. I hate to use that because that's a loaded term, but like, I remember, back long time ago, people thought single page apps were cool. And they realized over time that, one of the great things about the web is that you can open new tabs. Everything links to each other and stuff like that. But like the Shogi world still is on this single page application. Like you can't open things easily in a new tab here. You can't have multiple sessions running easily across machines or in different tabs. It's very much like, it's like we're running this game on an arcade cabinet. It's like, the mindset of the Shogi developers are, the user is running this app in an arcade cabinet, and they can't open new tabs, and they can't do all this great stuff with data, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, I like this site. It gives me nostalgic Shogi Club 24 feelings. I think it's clean. I think it has so much promise. There's a lot of good here. I'm not sure if it couldn't be improved with some more modern sensibilities. You've watched chess.com streamers. Do any of them use multiple tabs? I don't know. I think I've seen Hikaru use multiple tabs. Using multiple tabs is tough as a streamer because you don't want to mess up your layout sometimes. I've seen he's not a chess.com streamer. Neither of these two that I've seen, I think, use multiple tabs on chess.com. Are I think of them as Lichess guys, but Andrew Tang and Eric Rosen, I think I've both seen on chess.com using multiple tabs. But I don't think multiple tabs is the greatest thing for a streamer to be doing. And when I use multiple tabs when I'm streaming and I use multiple tabs on Lee Shogi, I sometimes run into trouble.
when I'm doing an arena, for example. But like in this case, I had multiple tabs open here with these different, and like how annoying would, so what I just did, so what I just mindlessly did on Lee Shogi, where I set up these two positions and then I compared their evaluation, how difficult would that have been in a single page app like this? It would have been, I mean, almost impossible. It would be almost impossible to have them side by side and compare. So this thing that I just did without a second thought, because Lee Shogi is a modern web application. I hesitate to even call it modern web. It's a proper web application. It's using the power of the web. It's using the power of the format to be able to let me do multiple things. In a single page app, like you're trying to reproduce an artifact of history, which is this single window application in a medium where you have so much more power. But it is what it is. Yeah, 81 Dojo, it does let you search player history and give game history. It does let you do that, but that's on the extreme where it's not even the same site, where there's almost no integration. There's very little integration between 81 Dojo, the single page app, and 81 Dojo, the player profile page. They're almost like two separate applications. Unfortunately, you can't go back and forth between the two. You can't be logged in across multiple browsers or across multiple tabs. You can't spectate two games at once, with the same account. 81 Dojo is still very much a single page application that does let you spin up multiple tabs for account related things. But regardless, I like HIKAKU. I like HIKAKU a lot. And just having played 2 games now, I could see myself playing here, using it in much the same way that I played on Shogi Club 24. Sort of rated, games with something at stake, as minimal as it is, having something at stake in a pleasant environment with a time control that I like. Oh, that's something I wanted to look at. Is there any way to play it? This is the only time control, right? There are no options. So I have no options. I can't set voice counting. There's no voice counting. I think there's no theme changes. And I think it's only short 2 is the only time control. Which, maybe this is another topic. If you were going to have a shogi site, an online show, a shogi site that had only one time control, what would it be? And I think so. My answer, I think, is short 2. I think if I had one time control for a shogi site, I think this might be it. Lorenzo Coco, yeah, 90 plus 30. You're not going to have the most popular online shogi site. There's going to be like 2 people. what Todovsky, can you explain more what you mean by that? What is short 2 but using Byoyomi instead? To me, delay doesn't really feel complementary to Byoyomi. To me, it feels like it's a one or the other. But I could be wrong. Or just, I could lack the creativity here. The one problem that I see with short 2 with delay is that the Meijin Sen clock does not support it. At least I think it doesn't. I'll have to check it later. But I don't think delay is supported on the Meijin Sen clock. Obviously, you can get any good chess clock is going to support this. Oh. Yeah, I don't like the 1 minute main time and 30-second Byoyomi myself. Oh, and I might have a copy of it, but there was a Twitter discussion about that. And I was feeling very vindicated because someone was saying that 1 minute 30-second 1 minutes with 30-second Byoyomi is pointless because the 1 minute adds no value. And I think in the discussion, people were theorizing that anything up to almost 10 minutes is pointless in a Byoyomi system. But I could be misremembering, or I could be inserting into my mental record things that I was thinking. Well, the time bank is adding value. The players are moving quickly, but I think that's a good thing. Is that in the opening they're not wasting time, but you still in the moment of truth will be able to have some longer thinks. I think that's the main benefit of it. Is that one, you have padding over you have some padding on your 30 seconds. So if you're not perfectly at 30, you don't just lose the game. You get a little bit of a buffer, but also you could save that bank until the end of the game when you might need it. I mean, even in slow but Byoyomi games, people play their openings fast. I'm not sure if that's any different. I've observed enough WSL games to remember, some people play those 30-60 WSL games like they are in a panic. I've seen WSL games end where each player spent 5 minutes on their clock. They each had they each had 20 plus minutes on their main time. They hadn't gotten anywhere close to Byoyomi. It's yeah. I don't fault the time control. I don't blame the time control necessarily for some people playing too fast. But that's also a thing here. It part back to that discussion of what would if I could only choose one for an online site, what would I choose? I think 30-second delay, 60-minute main time is a good choice because if people want to play fast, they can play fast. And if people want to play more thoughtfully, they can play more thoughtfully. But someone who wants to play really slowly can't impact other players who want to play not really slowly. So, yeah. I like this. I can't think of a better choice. Myself, I can't think of a better choice if I was going to set if I was going to have one time control to rule them all on my shogi site, like HIKAKU right now has decided, it seems, that they are only supporting one time control. I think this is a great choice. A really great choice. I was wondering if he was going to take there. Because he can't drop the pawn. You know, the knight drop is no good. You know, he can't take this pawn. Pawn, lance, bishop is no good because this bishop is defending. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Anyway, boy, I am my throat is so dry, and yeah, it's I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna get some water. I'm not gonna close up just yet. We have 20 people watching across YouTube and Twitch, so I don't want to just end the stream. But I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Wait, did someone retire or resign? Someone resigned. I think someone. So Manuel Bohr's fan. Mashite. They have left the room. Okay. Arigatou gozaimashita. Okay, so here's oh no, that's not oh. That's oh gosh, I'm a fool. The winner was Okay. Wait. So who won? Who won? Am I an idiot here? Is there no way to tell who won? Well, I don't want to use the board position to declare who won because that could be wrong. Like I've had people resign against me in winning positions. I've certainly resigned in non-losing positions. So Gote won, but the thing that I am using, the heuristic I'm using right now to decide who won is that most shogi sites don't let you resign unless it's your move. So I'm guessing that Sente resigned. But that doesn't. So I'm gonna translate the page, just see if some of this. Okay. Oh, Manuel Boris fan won by resignation. Okay. So Gote did win. So it says there. There it is. Okay, so it does say there. You just have to know that those words. I'm surprised there's no visual indicator anywhere else of who won. Maybe in the Kifu. Nope, Kifu doesn't say. Well, could Sente not have well, could have saved it by giving up a gold, but that wouldn't be good. Yeah. All right. Yoji Nobori, hello. How are you enjoying Hikaku? How are you enjoying it? Top 3. So these are wins, 182 wins. I'm just going to click around a bit just to see if there are any clickable areas for setting preferences. Like these are just my profile. Yeah, so it doesn't seem like there are preferences like for look and feel or stuff like that. This is what is this? What is this? Oh, that's his name. So this is 3Q, that looks like. Very small, hard for me to see. So this is Yodan. So this is a 4-dan versus a 3Q. Yeah. Well, what is this? I'm just going to click that. Huh. Interesting. This is strange. This is strange, right? The 4 Don is... Am I misreading this position? It seems to me like the 4 Don is getting wrecked by the 3Q. These are all strange moves to me. These are all strange moves to me. There's a move I understand. It seems to me that Gote gave up a lot of areas for the king to run for no good reason. You know, it's probably going to be fine regardless, but... Oh, man. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm still not 100% health-wise. I wonder if it's the small text that's making me allergic to the noodle letters. What noodle letters? Noodle? Going for style points. And that's it. GG. I'm curious what this guy's history is here. Where's the record? Whoa! Wait. He's a 3Q with 800 plus games played. I mean, it's a new site. The ratings are what they are. But that seems strange. That seems strange that a 4 Don with plenty of games played just got it seems like demolished. Oh, it says his peak rating was 1900. Oh, so he's so like I said, it's very much like Shogi Club 24. It's very much like Shogi Club 24. Oh, is this a bot? Wait, what does this say? Is it a bot? Yeah, you wonder if they beat Watanabe. Yeah, so it's if this does become Shogi Club 24, at some point, the rating system is the players are going to be getting really weird. But I've got my peak, so I've already hit my I've hit my peak. I have nothing to worry. It doesn't matter now. I've hit my peak. if this does become the new Shogi Club 24, and eventually I get demoted down into like 11Q range, I could always say, well, I was Shodan there. I was Shodan. Oh, what level are you on? What rating are you on Hikaku? Shodan. Oh boy. Anything going on 81 Dojo? Speaking of the new place for Shogi Club 24. Okay, nothing's going on. All right. Close this tab. Yeah, I think you just beat a 6 Dan, and you are on fire. You are absolutely on fire. Oh, I wish I could have seen. Yeah, you're playing. Do you feel like do you feel any different? Oh, don't forget to don't forget to screenshot. Don't include the win-loss and the question mark. Exactly. Yeah, you lost. See, that's class of you. So that is class to give the rematch. That's what I call a classy player. If you beat someone with a very high rating, and they do the rematch, you give them the rematch. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to explain the streaks of playing really awful. I definitely get that. But do you feel like something has clicked? Do you feel that something has clicked? Or have you been through this enough times where it's just sort of a temporary blip in clarity? Like I think the first 2 times that playing show, the first 2 times where I went on a tear in shogi, like both online and offline. I thought, in my mind, you know what? Something clicked. I am getting it. I'm a better player now. I'm getting it. So I felt like something had really clicked. And then I went on the big loss streak. And I felt like I don't know anything. And I think after 2 of those boom and bust cycles, I think now when I go on the streak where I'm feeling unbeatable, I don't necessarily in my mind think that I'm any better. I think I start assuming that I just happen to get a few opponents play into some openings that I like, and I happened to see some mates that I might not have seen in other days. So you've been studying one of your old openings again. Oh, and it was getting you a lot of wins. Interesting. And it's a very aggressive opening. So you did feel like your attacks were all breaking through. Oh, I love that feeling. I love that feeling. I mean, that's what addicted to me in the beginning to Urashino Ryu, where it just felt like when I started playing it, it just kept giving me all my attacks were hitting. And then even in other openings, you were finding more good attacking moves. So maybe things are clicking. But how do you keep that? Like, I remember after coming back from spectating the 2025 US Shogi Championship, some of those takeaways that I had, especially around pawn play and pawn drops and attacking to defend kind of mindset. I felt like I made a big breakthrough in my games. My results were showing it, and I felt I was trying to justify that, like, okay, my results, I'm winning. I'm just winning. Maybe I did learn something. And then I started losing. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe it was all a facade. Maybe it was all just a dream. But Shogi is tough like that. So anyway, all right. My voice is starting to go. So I'm going to close it up here. And thanks everyone for joining. Again, if you want to check this out, if you want to check the site out, just final word here. Shogi.games. Shogi.games. You have to register with a Google account. So, like, pretty much everyone has a Google account. Obviously, some people would be less willing to just associate it everywhere, and that's reasonable. But anyway, for now, you sign up with a Google account, and you give a name. You say they ask your Shogi Wars and your 81 Dojo rating. They'll place you. Like I said, I put my Shogi Wars 1 Shodan and my 81 Dojo 2 Dan, and that equated to them placing me at 1Q. And so your mileage may vary there, but give it a chance. I like what they're doing. I wish them the best. I think I will be coming back. And one thing that is nice versus 81 Dojo is that I can open this up, even though it is a single page app and it doesn't work all that well across browsers to have multiple logins. You can do it. So I can log in on this machine. I can log in on this machine and watch some games or play some games while I'm on the couch, even though I'm logged in over here. So, that's it's a low bar, I admit, but that is nice. And yeah, give it a shot. They seem to be active, and they are on Twitter. And yeah, I hope they do well. So thanks everybody for watching. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy your shogi, and I'll see you soon.